Effectiveness by Kavinder Beniwal. And before I hand over the platform to Mr. Kavinder, let me also have the pleasure of introducing our esteemed guest for all of you, for all of our wonderful participants as always. Mr. Kavinder Beniwal is currently the country sales manager at Medtronic Labs, based out of Gurugram, Haryana, India. And he has 15 plus years of experience. He's a global business manager with 15 plus years of experience in commercial excellence, managing large P&L divisions, business development, and growing market share. And he also is a very adept at creating new market segments with clear focus on team success. And by the way, he also offers a very interesting program at MDA Gurgaon on the same thing, that is sales force management, as well as increasing the sales force performance. And he's also a cultural team management experience where through handling, reporting, and stay in Germany, and expertise across various geographical regions in India, having a varied trade terms, business norms and regulations, and industrial framework and functional methodologies. And he also has got amazing experience in scaling up operations and building up businesses from start and making strong recurring businesses. And with the specialized domain experience in leading sales and marketing organizational teams to accomplish and exceed revenue and profit goals in Indian diagnostics and medical equipment market, including image diagnostics and therapy system, with close working associations with the National Health Mission and state medical corporations, contributing meaningfully towards the improvement of patient care in private and public health systems. And he has got, like I said, amazing sales experience, and most importantly, I think that's a very interesting lesson to all of us, and that is that every now and then has got, he went back to the school or a different top-notch business school in the world, having acquired different certifications and also expertise in various domains. And for example, he has got a certificate course on strategic management in healthcare and medical devices and strategic approaches to business mapping and healthcare marketing strategies from Indian Institute of Management, Bangalore. And he has done a management development program in transformative leadership in VUCA, World and Change Management from Indian School of Business. And he has also done a general management program from Indian School of Business, apart from his MBA from German Business School, Hochschule Great Fusion, Swiss, right? It's a very highly pronounced name from German Business School. And also he has got a general management program in strategic decision making from NYU Stern School of Business. So with all that, plus his eye on improving sales performance, I'm sure he's going to take us through some of the nuggets, I would say, very important words of wisdom for all of you who are actually, whether you're in sales or not. I think each one of us do sales in one way or the other. So therefore, I'm sure each one of us will have a great learning outcomes by the time we either finish his lecture, as well as asking some of you from your point of view, some questions from each one of you, right? So over to you, Kavinder.
Thank you, Professor Chaudhary, and I think giving a few kind words. Thank you, and pleasure to be here among the groups and again the budding young managers. So as I think Professor was saying, also for sales, sales is again sometimes a cliche word or a taboo around sales is, maybe I'm an extrovert, I'm not cut out for sales. But what we are doing, like in day-to-day conversations, right? Managing our kids' expectations, right? Managing conversations with our colleagues at workplace or students in college. Everywhere we are into those conversations, right? So those are actually more of similar conversation also happens in sales. And I think I just want to, as the limited time is there, I will give you a few nuggets, as Professor was mentioning, that what are the key, it's a very vast topic on sales effectiveness and sales management. So what I will start with maybe just to ask you guys, what is changing in top 5 companies over the years? If you see overall in last 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 3 decades, if you see, the top 5 companies are constantly changing. you can see the top guys in 1990s, GE used to be the world leader, right? In terms of, you all have heard about General Electric. They have such a wide portfolio of products into energy, into big machinery, aircraft engines, and so many things, right? But what is there, what happened to this company 20, 30 years after? Today, it is not even part of the top Fortune 100 companies, right? It was used to be number one in 1990. So over I think, period of these 3 years, 3 decades, sorry, has happened a lot of change. And another stats I want to share with you all is in last 8 to 9 years, there are only 6% companies which have grown over 10% globally. These are top Fortune 500 companies. Out of that, only 6% have grown over 10%. So something is happening, right? And what is, again, business models are changing. And one important aspect which I feel more and more people are looking now at the sales effectiveness, because end of the day, this is the kind of front-facing, I think, people who are interacting with customers. Something have gone amiss, right? A company that was number one in 1990 today is not in top 100. I'm talking about General Electric. So that takes into our, I think, next brief, I think, introduction. I just want to take the definition. What is a sales force effectiveness? Sales force effectiveness, again, it's, you all know, it's again a word which has its own meaning in the word itself, where a company sales team is able to, meet the objectives, right? And all really the goals and objectives given it. You can call them sales quota, you can call them targets, and contribute to the overall success of the business. And there are a few, I think, key elements of sales force effectiveness. Again, also targeting the right customers, deploying the right sales structure, execution on the ground, engagement with the stakeholders. When you're meeting and buying or buyer any customer where I think he was going to buy a solution, product, or a service, are you really moving and meeting all the stakeholders? Because nowadays it's not a simple sales. If you talk about majorly B2B sales, this is an area where we are now looking at complex structure of decision making, where not one single person is making the decision. Then how we are able to move from these complex sales structure and engaging, and on top of that, there's also a lot of competition, right? So in this competitive environment, how we ensure that as a company, we achieve the company objectives, and we guide and enable the sales team, engage with the stakeholders. There are many metrics which are there as part of Salesforce effectiveness, which has been, again, overall mentioned here, which talks about, again, many companies are looking at customer acquisition, sales revenue as a key metric, customer retention rate, sales conversion cycle, and so forth. So I think so on and so forth. But what exactly are looking at is it's an interaction where a customer agrees to kind of use your product or a service or your solution in B2B, as I mentioned. So there has to be a win-win solution, right? So there has to be a one-to-one relationship. And what happens, again, as the high definition of sales, many people think, sales is just going and showing the product. And no, if somebody has a need, again, meeting the need versus your product, placing that. But now it has become more and more nuances are there. When you talk about a complex sales structure, you are looking at the multiple aspects where you are really seeing a consultative approach. Now, if we see what are the key characteristics of a high performing or again effective sales force, or what are the key challenges if we talk about, but end of the day, what are the key selling solutions where we have a deep understanding of customer needs, right? End of the day, many a times we have our product and we think, this is my good product. And one example I can share with is, again, I studied in Germany. And during that time, many of my professors and we also went to many company visits. The approach in these companies were, we were very good in precision engineering, and all these products are top class in engineering. They definitely will have a customer delight, and we should have the largest market or market share in the world. But for any product to happen, to sell, you need a good sales team. You need a good marketing strategy, right? End of the day, that's what I think very contrast you will see between an American company and a German company. Germans are very good in making products, like in their precision, high precision engineering is top class. Their products are also, the quality is becomes a kind of synonymous with German. If it's made in Germany, you don't have a question on quality. But what happens is they are not good marketeers. They are not able to good, they are not good salesmen, if you can say that, because they are not able to really take that product to the customer and showing positioning at the need level. There are companies, example, all of these automobile companies, when they were only present in Germany, you talk about BMW, Mercedes-Benz, or Volkswagen, most of these companies were not doing that well unless until they got the marketing support or marketing kind of sales and marketing support from American. So now they are truly a combination of quality versus the best practices in sales and marketing. And this is where they sell solutions based on the deep understanding. And that's what you see so much work is being done on sales and marketing in the most top US universities. And how they are able to bring so much of frameworks talking about how we can accelerate the desired competencies. Overall, means again, keeping various frameworks on team management, on hiring right salespeople, integrating all of them into our distribution channel, partner channel, and also bringing out latest IT systems, which is again, IT is coming the third arm, which is now technology and analytics is playing an important role in the success of next 20 to 30 years. This is the kind of time you will see where data is playing a lot of role. And there also, I should say, it is an important aspect of data is a right set of data, right? Which is more important. So this is what overall, I think we are looking at right insights, right? Data analysis. And our Indian companies are doing a lot of work. All our IT value added companies, you see a lot of things are happening. So what this again is taking at high level is again, starting from deep understanding of our customers, having those right frameworks, having a right distribution channel, delivering our enhanced sales support, because any product or service, it's selling is just the start of that relationship. How you kind of nurture that relationship with a good sales support, after sales, your network, your response time, and how that customer experience, you kind of take it to the next level. You see the example of Apple, how Apple and Amazon have really redefined the customer experience, right? You order from Amazon, the kind of return policy, the customer delight policy is so good, right? End of the day, they really delight their customers. And that's how each and every element is based into that. And you are able to take it to the next level. So I think this is again a combination of technology as well as deep insights. And now analytics also, I was talking about, a lot of technologies are playing a very, I think, important role where example in Salesforce effectiveness is if you look at Amazon, how an Amazon is targeting the kind of digital networks and digital marketing tools they are using, they are able to, again, many are saying that they are influencing customer behavior, but I would say they are actually shaping customer behavior to an extent where you are able to, when you click on your Amazon on product, this particular click will keep on following you through the web crawler technology. And they have so much of tools where they kind of track you, which online sites you're visiting, everywhere that product is in front of you in focus. And slowly and steadily, it is kind of influencing you towards buying that product. So this is not only influencing customer behavior, it is actually shaping customer behavior. So again, what are the key, I think, elements when we talk about, the few ideas again as sales strategy and channel alignment we talk about many times. What is a prioritization? Because I'm taking you from here, Salesforce effectiveness, what are the key challenges, what are the key elements? And we'll then talk about what are the key levers. So sales strategy, I'll take a pause. If any, Professor Nagendra, I saw a question. Were you asking a question or should I go on?
No. I think we'll go ahead and then we'll pick up the questions towards the end of the lecture.
Sure, Professor Nagendra.
Yeah.
Thank you. So this is again looking from sales strategy and channel management is very important aspect. Like, first of all, you should, based on your product, you should be able to have your sales strategy and what should be the right channel. Is it an offline channel? And now as we are looking in more and more towards, especially the customer facing product or FMCGs and all many now fast moving products, we are looking towards online channels. But now even you are looking at omni channels. No, not a single channel is able to kind of fit the requirement. So more and more you guys are hearing about omni channel marketing, right? So at every customer touch point where we can get a customer touch point, that is your channel. And how you have various plans of new lead generations, sales conversion, and again customer retention. This is also, I'm sure everybody's also studying in the business school as well. It is very easy to, again, if you have retained your customers, because one again, the kind of cost of customer acquisition is going more and more. So if you are able to hold on to your core customer group, it is really bring your longevity of the company and also sustainable competitive advantage, that you are always upselling into that kind of customer I think relations what you have. Because when a customer leaves your your product or offering unsatisfied, and that has actually a very negative impact. So that's how it is very important that we are looking at our customer retentions policies and customer centricity. And that's the main point everybody is focused on. All of our customers, like any, for example, for a business school, like for Professor Nagenda, the students are his customers, right? If you are not properly handled and the focus is not there, then it will not make him or the TimesPro successful. This is how we have to be very customer centric and look at what are the enablers, right? In terms of entire, if you see, again, managing high performance is again managing those expectations, because this is another course which Professor was mentioning that I teach at some other business school, is on building high performance teams, right? So this is so important to maintain and retain those high performers, because high performers burnout rate is also very high. So we had to ensure that they are always first of all recognized and rewarded. At the same time, their expectations are also managed well. And this is what one of the important aspect in building high performance teams, where we are looking at these top star performers are being managed well, their expectations are managed well, and also they are in the matrix. If you see, among the, if I say there are 10 sales team members I have, these top performers will always be around 15 to 20%. So it is very important we kind of retain them, their expectations are being maintained. And also looking at opportunities, again, for growth, as I was saying, for customer retention, it's important, new product, new service, when we are launching, always go to that kind of your core loyal group, which can always give feedback as well. If you have a new offering of a new product, and any product which is ahead of time is not meeting the customer requirement at that time, may not be successful. And there have been numerous examples where people say this digital photography, like Kodak was the one which was have kind of launched this technology well ahead from Fujifilm or other companies, but for 20 years they struggled because the timing to the market was not right. And the same product brought to by Fujifilm and some other companies was huge success. So that's why importance is of the timing for the market for our product. Then looking at what are the key, I think levers, if we talk about at the holistic view, again, when we are looking at sales strategy level, because sales strategy and channel alignment consist of these 4 elements, like what is your market strategy, what is your sales-led growth strategy, channel alignment, and as well as customer channel, and what is your customer value proposition, right? And then your sales process and your management improvement, right? As the end of the say, do you have a feedback mechanism starting from your new lead generation to your sales conversion, where you're talking about what is your content marketing program, what channel are you using? Are you using online versus offline? Are you using Facebook marketing? Are you using Google search or SEO, search engine optimization? What are the new technology you're using? and how are you able to get those pipelines, and how you are managing those pipelines is important. And what are, again, for new lead generation as well as acquisition, nowadays you have a lot of, again, CRM tools, which are, Salesforce, Oracle X, HubSpot. So many technologies are available. And how these sales conversion happens at proposal, the kind of again, also negotiation, and kind of basically meeting a win and win argument where with your customers, positioning your product at where the customer need is there, and being a consultant rather than pushing your sales, because this is what most of key decision makers hate, is when somebody is coming and selling them something, right? Everybody gets it. But if you are able to really understand the pain points, what they are facing, what the key customer expectations are, and base that, if you are able to position your product that is the right fit, and that leads to your as they say, win and win combination, and force your retention. What are you planning? Are you? And there's also, I think, strategy nowadays. There have been cases, if where are a particular, I think, if a company makes a mistake, first acknowledge it. Many a times you keep on hiding that in our medical industry, we have an example where Johnson and Johnson were actually knowing about their this baby powder range, that it has a carcinogenic agent almost 30 years back. They were not able to have that particular issue acknowledged and rectified, and they went on to sell that particular talcum powder for baby powder for around next 30 years, and now they got very recently close to a $2 billion fine in US court, where it is important to acknowledge a challenge. And there has been numerous example where a company, if they have acknowledged the problem at the right time, and then informing the customers. We all also know that there are possibilities of error and mistakes, right? This is an example where Honda had in India one challenge where there's some faulty belts were there, and they replaced it. Like, no, this is the kind of thing where you acknowledge, and you bring example of Maggie. How in Indian market, if you see, we have gone through that issue where Maggie had some issues, and in the market, the brand name was really impacted. But how they kind of turned around and brought that solution or those issues addressed. And this again a classic example of a communication strategy, and for a communication class, that how that particular entire messaging was kind of initially they were not doing right well. Initially they were all saying no, it is not, it's safe, it doesn't happen. And then slowly they kind of acknowledged that this was a problem, and then kind of rectified. And now from losing those sales of around close to 1,000 crore kind of product, that is, they are now back again around 1,200 crore is the market value for Maggie currently. So this is how you win back customer as well. But at the same time, be honest and be acknowledge that issue, that this is what we have faced. And from there you build on, because otherwise many a times companies we have seen, they keep on hiding that time after time. And I gave an example, so many companies are there which have actually gone through that phase where these kind of small issues become very big, and it has led to $2 billion fine for Johnson & Johnson, which is for their pharma business. It's a big hit. So, and also looking at what are the key Salesforce enablers, what we are looking at our sales organization level, including our operations, including what should be our sales incentive plans, right? Because that's also important to understand, because people, especially salespeople, they really respond to incentives. So you have to have a good incentive structure. It should be simple. It should not be complex. You should have a performance measurement tools, and also this Salesforce kind of or sales incentive plan, which is easy to understand. Even at the front line sales executive, he should be able to calculate his sales incentive. It should be that simple. So this is what we are looking at high level, and building that again sales performance culture is very, very important. And then based on the again product, it's very also critical that one solution fit all doesn't work. Also in building our sales organization, where we are looking at holistically that a particular sales item or sales product, once either I'm selling a IT product or a software, or if I'm selling a maybe a complex medical device, an equipment which is which does a neurosurgery, for example, navigation system, or means again surgical robot. What should be the selling model for that, right? So that's why it talks about from degree of differentiation from your customization from like what are technical complexity, what is the product complexity. You have to really build that. Then this is the 2x2 matrix, which simply give you an example that how we are looking at for a particular solution. If it's a as simple as a very differentiated product, but product complexity is less. For example, any pharmaceutical product, if you have a new medicine launched, what you are looking at there, it would be a mass product. For example, let's say diabetes tablet you are launching, then you want to reach at the maximum surgeons level. I know how many doctors you can, general physician or diabetologist, you want to reach in the country. So what you are looking at is more of a coverage selling model, where your coverage should be more and there should be high touch selling support and more direct sales force. Your medical representatives are there in the field to cover as many doctors. And that's why the performance measurement in pharmaceuticals is again how many number of doctors in each day a particular market and again marketing representatives or MR is meeting. This is their kind of a matrix. But again, if it's a very, very simple, when you're looking out a model, many a times, few products you are selling from not telemarketing, right? Where you are more, you don't need a high coverage model where you are looking at a low cost coverage model, because there the price of that product is very, very, I think price points are such where you are using only through either your web platform, you're selling that. Or so as many as a lower cost of selling is needed, means required there. So you go for low cost coverage selling model. And there can be a mixed model as well, where you have a little bit, product is complex, but at the same time, it's also a Me Too product. So there are enterprise hardwares, as you know, they are like CRM systems, SAP systems, right? ERP softwares, enterprise resource planning softwares. There are many companies who are in the same space, but what you are looking at again, if it's a Me Too product, very common kind of a billing system or a CRM system, then you are looking at a mixed selling model where you don't need very high degree of differentiation. But there are most of complex product, which is a new product in the market. There you need a solution selling, right? Where you need to understand, as I told you, there's a medical robot which you are selling to a hospital system, and average price of an robotic system currently is in the range of close to $1 million, maybe more than $1 million, million and a half dollar. That's the kind of average selling price of a surgical robot. So then you are looking at, again, meeting all the stakeholders, and you are looking at solution selling model. First, you are meeting each and every user, surgeon who are going to use that robot. What is kind of key need? Like, are they looking at in terms of patient load? Do they get those kind of patients on day-to-day basis, which would benefit from such a solution? Then looking at their finance department, their CXO office, their purchase, their biomedical, to understand the readiness of that hospital. And also, if they acquire this technology, will they be able to sustain it, use it? And looking at CXO level, what is their approach towards it? So that's why the more complex touch points are there. And that's why the sales cycles in such a product is also long. So average selling, again, sales cycles of a surgical robot is more than 6 to 9 months on average. It goes from sometimes to year and a half. So this is how you kind of define that, okay, this should be my sales cycle based on my product. And I'm again saying based on the product, if you are into software, are you into a product which you are going to launch? Is it a FMCG product? If it's a complex robot, like costing more than $1.5 million. So basis that you define it. So again, then aspect again, I just wanted to share with you all is again, guiding principle also is important for sales. In my experience, I have seen is more and more sales force, the compensation plan has to be very, very, I think a lot of time has to be invested into that, because salespeople in general, I think they really respond to those sales incentives. And most of us actually respond to incentives, but salespeople are really I would say their DNA is built around it, because they get more and more motivated once they see what is the kind of sales commission they are going to earn. So that's why it's again very important to administer a plan where compensation plan is given to them, which is given a tool, very simple to calculate. Even in the front, Salesforce guy should be able to know what is my sales commission, so that he is highly motivated and going to go above and beyond. Because if there's a lot of complex structure you have made and where the sales hierarchy is not able to understand, and half the time you have X, Y, Z riders and they are not able to reach the optimal level of sales commissions, slowly and steadily you will know that that performance will not be optimal. So these are few, I think, again, fixed versus variable is very important, performance-based plan. And I think towards now, I think I'm towards the now final 5-10 minutes of this discussion, where I also want to share with you, the group, that what are the key lessons which I learned, again, last 10 to 15 years of my sales experience and 10 years of almost sales leadership experience, where you are really have to build that relationship with the CEXOs, right? And you have to have those executive sponsors, right? When you are in that organization, in the each at a country level or at an region level, Asia Pacific level, you have to have that kind of an executive again relationship with the key executives and sales leaders. And also as a leader, again, this is approach, you always have that kind of weekly kind of a steering group meetings, like we have weekly standing update with the team, where we are able to see, because whatever happens with any issue in the territory or in any region, once it is identified early, you can provide a good solution at that moment. Otherwise, after, if an event or episode has happened, after that, you can, whatever postmortem you can do, you cannot rectify to the level where you can do proactively. That's why it is very important to really have that standing meeting. We call it as again weekly stand up. So this is weekly meeting where we are discussing about what are the key again metrics, what are action plans where we are failing or we are doing good, and more than where we are doing good, we focus on what is not working and how we can have action plan for their improving them. And what should be the forecast accuracy of sales pipeline? And that's how, again, as I was telling you, there's a lot of, I think, tools nowadays. We are using Salesforce.com. So a couple of similar tools, Zoho, and so many CRM tools are there, which really guides you once you are able to feed into the good lead structure, what each stage you keep on updating weekly basis. This gives you a clear guide that, okay, what are the key improvement plans you should look at? What are the accuracy? And we calculate the probability based on that. And looking at also at global program levels, if there's some shortage of a product, you are always interacting with global teams to understand. And again, this is aspect again, which I want to share is, again, defined scope is very important. The specifics, right? Clear direction and maintaining focus on specific objective, because many a times I have seen very generalized statement. If you ask somebody how we are doing good, I'm doing good. What does that mean? Right? Be specific on those kind of discussions where you are looking at specific, I think, deliverables where you are able to clearly define, okay, this is your weekly objectives. On each one of them, you discuss with the team, okay, how we are able to move that needle to next level. And again, consistency is again part through, again, geographical variance. Also keep on checking where the, again, mantra there is, be in touch with the team, to be close to the ground where you know the exact situation. And overall also, again, some out of scope, if requests they are coming, you're always able to see that where your sales teams, your team members, your leadership is not wasting time on non-core items, and you're always making sure that the right time is spent with, again, we call it as face time with customer, which is very important, because at the end of the day, your customer always provides you those insights, right? They will keep on, you interact with them. If any new solution comes, our, again, approach is first go to meet your existing customers and ask them, okay, does this new solution or a product really have a good market, or what is your feedback? And then we call it as, again, pre-market release exercise. So those are the important things we do it. Again, this is a framework. In interest of time, I'll just kind of cover it. This is again a screenshot of and how we kind of match our pipeline. This is just a screenshot, and these are few CRM tools what we are using. So this is again in a nutshell, team. I want to share again in interest of time, and I want to also spend more time on questions rather than me just giving a monologue. So thank you. Over to you, Professor Nagendra.
Thank you, Kavinder. I think we have quite a few questions, and let me take a few of them. And the first question is a very interesting one that we got, right? How to increase responsiveness in a metrics organization?
Yeah. So again, this is a very good question, Professor Nagendra. So overall, if we look at now more and more multinationals, right, where you have, for example, if I take an example, Medtronic, we have 90,000 plus employees in the world. Same if any big company will say globally they have 100,000 plus kind of people. So in such a kind of matrix organization, how we kind of ensure. So I think what two things which comes to my mind is again in this is again getting clarity, right? First part is when whichever stakeholders is kind of discussing with you, you are always going responsiveness again. How you improve is many times if you see again it has I have been also I would say at the receiving end in such a situation where you have your one direct line manager and you have some dotted line reporting where you becomes many times confused, right? Somebody tells you to do something and then your core deliverables gets kind of affected, right? So in those situations what we kind of do is many a times expectations has to be clear. Many a times when expectations are not clear, that's where the kind of issue happens. And whenever there's a conflicting kind of messages coming, you should always go to your line manager, right? And getting clarity. This is what I'm now getting kind of requests for. And many times there's also dynamic requirements like dynamic changing business environment, and too many people are telling. I can issue another example is where one time one particular team member we kind of discussed with is he took again he copied 20 people in an email and he waited for the response till every 20th person responded to the email. After that kind of he responded back. So imagine the kind of time lost, right, in such a situation if you have copied so many people. So there the importance is clarity in the kind of your expectations, and also understanding if you are getting those unreasonable requests or you think you are pressed for time, checking with your line manager and line supervisor that this is what I'm getting. And again, being assertive and saying no to things is a good thing as well, right? Telling people, okay, I want to help you. Again, being nice to everyone is good, but you can't do everything, right? And like saying yes to everything is also going to affect your own productivity. So there, I think two things again I will summarize is clarity or expectations, and again also if there are conflicting information, summarize taking from a line manager.
Thank you, Kavinder. So there's a wonderful question from Mr. Anil Kumar Patankar. His question is slightly different because it has got to do with some other discipline, I would say. As part of project management and execution, how to explore our role as sales and expedite. What are the opportunities and operations? Thank you, Anil.
Yeah. So again, if I have understood the question right, again, Professor Nagendra, you can maybe first part I was not able to hear very clearly.
Okay, can I read it out again?
Yeah, if you can read out the first part, because I said the sales ops role in a sales cycle. That second part I heard.
So his question is, as part of project management and execution, how to explore our roles as sales and expedite. And the second question is, what are the opportunities and operations?
Yeah. So I think again, as a part of project management as well, this project is about, let's say, new product development, right? Again, your relationship with core sales teams is always good because sales team members are all the time in the field, in the customer facing time, right? So what you can always build at that feedback mechanism. If in that new product development project you are, or some other project, for example, what if you want the most customer near information, your sales team should be your kind of go-to team, and those are the guys you should build a good relationship with, which can help in really helping you there. And when you ask about sales cycle expediting, again many a times we feel that it's the always a need versus a solution kind of a fit when actual sales happens. So looking at that, and then operations is very critical part of sales, because again, sales guys are the guys who are going in the field and committing everything, right? They will, in that time, they will say yes to most of the things. This is a typical sales frontline guys. And then operation becomes very important, because if you don't deliver those kind of expectations in time on delivering those expectations again within your turnaround times, everything will never have a good experience. So that's why it is important.
Very good. Now, is this a very interesting question? Maybe I think somebody should actually make a movie out of it, or maybe some interesting case out of it. Now, this is a question from Mr. Nilesh Jadai, and his question is: what should be the daily schedule of a sales professional? Thank you, Nilesh. Very interesting one.
Yeah, so I think for a sales, I think person, one thing is very important. Again, our time management skills is always the most important part. Again, most of us, I think, from the time I was in front sales, we were focusing more and more time. Our daily routine was based on my target customers, right? If I have my physicians at that time, I was meeting the radiologist. So what is the time when I can meet them? What is their free time? And usually it used to be early morning. So I used to get up early, go to the hospital around 8 o'clock. They used to come at 8:30, get that early half an hour, 1 hour time. So you again has to define your daily routines based on your target customers. But in general, having discipline in your approach is the most important trait for a successful sales professional, where you are able to see your daily task planner, like what are your key, I call them the key rocks of the day. Every day, what are the key items you should block important time with, and what those activity you plan around, and what are the routine items you are doing basis that, and you find that time. If you have to send for example, a report to your supervisor, that's your routine item. How you fit that time into your your lean time, where you are not having much customer facing appointments, and use that time either late in the day or towards the lunchtime, afternoon time, whatever those lean period, that time you are able to use that. So again, high level discipline is very important. Time management skills is I feel is very important for a salesperson.
Very good. Now, this is the question from Mr. Dinesh Mangu, and his question is: what are the initial strategies we should follow to design a product? Not so much to do with sales, but I think something to do with the product.
Yeah, so again, I think very interesting questions. And nowadays, for any new product, I think first you have to understand, guys, is if there is a need for that product, if there is an actual customer need. And how do you do that? Is again, there are various methodologies used for that. One is customer journey. So what you basically map out a journey for a customer for that product we are building. And nowadays, there are, in design thinking approach, they are using most of personas for a product. So what, for example, you build a persona of a customer, you are building a product. Let's say I'm saying you are building a multilingual translator for a foreign tourist who comes to India, right? So in that case, you just map out the customer journey. If somebody lands, let's say first makes a plan to visit India, he lands at Delhi airport or Bangalore or Mumbai, wherever, right? How is kind of, he's going to, this product is going to help him, and have that customer journey mapped out. And wherever you will see his customer experience is going down, making note of those dips and designing your product and fitting to your product features to that becomes a good combination, where customer need or a pain point is being addressed with a solution.
Very good. Now, this is a question from Mr. Harsharan Kohli, and his question is: for a supply chain management consultancy into executive development trainings, supply chain efficiency and digital transformation projects, what should be the right method of lead generation? Thank you, Harsharan.
Yeah, so again, this is lead generation is again, I have been more on offline channel. I have worked all across majority of my career. So what I always feel is the offline channel, I have been again huge fan, but as the new solution are being upcoming, right? Nowadays we have so much, but I'm not a huge fan where companies are even saying customer clicks are also my leads, right? Those are not leads, right? Unless until a person has shown a desire or means an intent to buy, that is not a lead. So there's also many times confusion that when somebody is just visiting, and I have seen again many of these startups, I don't want to name them, but basis the customer clicks, they are building their kind of no, this much revenue, this is my market capitalization. That's not a right matrix to have it. Unless until you have a customer lead approach, I would say is again understanding your key customer target customers, right? Where those customers are spending more time at. For example, if I'm building a kind of a new pharma product, then I should have a more target of lead generation towards where these patients are visiting. Either in a hospital, I put a kiosk, right? If it's a digital mode, if there are somebody visiting Practo, right? There I should kind of have my marketing banner ads or those kind of target areas. So knowing your customer is the, I think, starting of the discussion. And from there, you will design which channel. And it has to be offline, online, or omni-channel. Basis your target customers. So that's the short answer.
Very good. The very other one, maybe a little emotive question, I would say. I think generally you must have heard quite a few times across your career, and also you would have heard from a lot of other companies, Kavin, about generally, but most in sales roles, especially, and that is performance perish kind of thing. That it almost become like a standard dogma kind of thing. So how do you think people from the sales force, especially, and of course rest of the people as well, but largely from the point of view of sales for teams, how do you think they should approach this performance perish culture? I won't say culture, but that's a kind of dictum. Maybe some of the companies, or maybe most of the companies, actually come out with.
Yeah. So I think again, I mean, thank you for this question. It's very interesting, aspect where you nowadays in sales, again, many people you will find saying that, oh, this is either you perform or either you kind of perish. But again, there I would say main aspect we should look at is before going towards the kind of a perish part of it. In performance, understanding that what is particular reasons in that performance issues, is it a skill issue, is it a will issue, right? Or it's a kind of understanding from the team members that are they facing some challenge at the personal front, right? And then you are looking at I think binary approach of performance. I think Parish doesn't work. I feel if it's a matter of skill, or if it's a matter of competence, you can always provide those additional trainings and give enough time. This is what I think I have so far approached in my career, is giving enough time to team members, right? Giving them, if there's skill issue and competence issue, how you improve the competence. But if it is again an issue of many times attitude, this is what is very difficult to correct, because skills can be trained, but attitude is very difficult to be changed, right? So looking at if it's when you reach to a particular conclusion after exhausting all your options, that it becomes in sheer incompetence or non-diligence, right? Or kind of attitude issue. That's the time I think you should take a call. Is again, we call in our surgeons say that for any cancer, you have to cut that cancer as early as possible, so that it kind of affects the entire your engine, your sales engine. So if you have exhausted all option, then you should take that kind of a step, or that cut which is required. When you say that is a sheer incompetence or non-diligence or attitude challenges, then you should immediately take a call.
Thank you. We still have a few more questions, so let me just take 3 of them. This is a question from Mr. Gauri Shankar. His question is, as a career shift from a salesperson to marketing, what value addition can be given back to sales team? Thank you, Gauri Shankar.
Again, Prof, I think maybe some network issue at my end. Can you repeat the question again? I couldn't.
Okay. Here is a question from Mr. Gauri Shankar. Hope you can hear me, Kavinder, right?
Yeah, I can hear you well now. Go ahead.
Yeah. So as a career shift from a salesperson to marketing, what value addition can be given back to the sales team?
Yeah, so I think most important aspect when you are going to marketing from sales profession, you exactly know now what is the customer expectation, right? And you also can imagine the sales team as you have been in their shoes before. So this becomes a very, I think, important combination for you, or your competitive advantage, I should say, where you are able to view this 2 frame of reference, one from your product marketing material, what should be my target customer, what should my marketing approaches, marketing strategy, or if it has to be marketing materials, what should be my approach, and what should be my channels from this marketing. At the same time, also taking that knowledge from sales that from sales perspective, how and each and every kind of marketing activity is kind of giving you, and as they say, quantitative no response or quantitative impact or outcome of each activity, and always using your right sales channel and sales knowledge to identify those right kind of territories or sales team members through which, if you're doing some product piloting or your market testing you are doing, you can always go to those markets first where you have those relationships. So it's a good combination.
I was on mute, sorry. This is a question from Mr. Amit Bharadwaj, and his question is, what are the key points to develop relationships with new customers? Thank you, Amit. Very, very pertinent question, I would say.
Again, Professor, I think apologies, I'm not able to hear very clearly.
What are the key points to develop? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Sorry.
Yeah. What are the key points to develop relationships with new customers, Kavinder?
Developing new relationship with customers.
Right, absolutely.
What should be the approaches?
What are the key points to develop relationships with new customers?
Yeah, so key point again, it's developing for any, not only customer, I say it's like a human to human kind of relationship, right? So how you develop a kind of a relationship with the human to human, again, understanding other persons, right? Again, when as a, I think for relationship building, knowing about the other person a little bit first, and then again, all of us have different personas and different kind of, as they say, liking, disliking, triggers, right? So this is how, when you have this, and it's very important now in sales, one-to-one relationship is very important, because still today, the kind of initial relationship I was able to build, those top purchase managers, biomedical engineers, now they are sitting in Medanta or they're sitting in Fortis. They call me whenever there's a product requirement. So that's why it is important, if you have that one-on-one good connection with those team members or those kind of customers, it really goes a long way in your career as well. So again, the short answer is knowing that person. Again, first of all, many times we have this imposter syndrome. We have to come out of that. If you are authentic, people gets it. If you are imposing, then they also get it, right? So it's important that you show that authentic side of you, that when end of the day, it's just an emotion, right? End of the day, you are understanding that person, if he's had particular requirement, and going to them, like not only when there's a requirement, only then going, meeting them also unofficially, right? Meeting them over a coffee, right? Going for that's how you build more relationship. You ask about their families, you ask about what is their daily routine, like, I know, what are those kind of things, what is their hobbies, and that's how you inculcate interpersonal relationships.
Very good. And this is a question from Mr. Vikram Sardesai. His question is, 3 books you have read recently, and what would you recommend?
Yeah. So again, I read a lot. So last 3, if I have to tell, one I have read recently is again Deep Work, which again talks about very good book about, where it talks about how you kind of take out your distraction and make time for that quality kind of work, which is very important. And another book which I think recently read is again Atomic Habits, is again a very good book, which talks about that you start small. Many a times we take very big goals, right? And this is what at a personal level, I am now taking a goal of losing weight. And I always have been taking very audacious goal and not able to successful. So now from that book, I learned that this is what you take, you start small. And from there, you kind of build up. And then another book which I liked recently read is again Pyramid Principle. This is again a book which talks about how you kind of structure your thought process, you structure your writing skills. Very good book, I think, to young budding manager, I will highly recommend it. Pyramid Principles.
Very good. And probably last but one question for today evening. In fact, this is our second question from Mr. Gauri Shankar. And his question is, how are you managing the acquisition of entry-level sales team in current generation is not preferring sales as a career? Very, very thoughtful observation, Gauri, and very big challenge, I'm sure, Kavinder. How do you acquire entry-level sales team?
Yeah, so what's the challenge? The last part, Professor Chaudhary, you said the new sales team members, or they are not good sales, or what was the last part? I understood the first part, the last part of the question.
Current generation is not preferring sales as a career.
Current generation is not preferring sales as a career, right?
Yeah.
I won't say they are not preferring sales. Maybe the one thing is again managing those expectations also, right? Again, keeping ourselves also. This is again, I would say, a conflict between. We have to keep ourselves also updated to their kind of the lingo they are using nowadays, right? The kind of their that they're using Netflix and all those things for binging, right? So it's again what I say is one part definitely the young sales team or young generation, they're always looking for instant results. So that's what we kind of coach them and tell them that there has to be a process. Once you follow the process, outcome or result is not no, you'll get instantly. It's an outcome of that process which you follow, right? So that's why there are different frameworks of good salespeople. And this is what I think we, for the new salespeople, first of all, we'll tell them that this is and kind of a field which gives you immense learning, which can go, you can cut across industry. If you are good salespersons, you will be successful everywhere, because the art of handling rejection is not easy, right? Out of 100 customers you are kind of meeting, out of 100 only one is saying yes. So it is a kind of an art, and that's why we kind of build those persona in our team members whenever I go for like their initial training and kind of onboarding discussions. And this is where I think we are now doing more and more again through our channels as well. That in medical devices, again, entry sales is a very good career. The kind of no, it really teaches you kind of build your network. And I think expectation wise, if I had to say that again, people, especially I think the younger generations are, I think they are a little impatient, but again, managing their kind of mindset and also that giving them, they want explanation for everything. They need a why for everything. Because in our generation, it's certain to an extent, yeah, I think even Professor Chaudhary, you'll agree that many times, no, we used to go by what parents are saying, right? But now there's a why for everything. And that's why these millennials as well, you have to, if you give them why, I think they understand, and then they kind of come around. But at the same time, you have to constantly check with them how they are doing, how is everything going. Because yeah, so those are the another aspect which constant touch base is important. They need to be patted more often for the good work they are doing. So yeah, if you have these two, three, I think regular check-ins with them and making them understand the why of everything which you are kind of telling them to do, it works.
Very good. So I think I have the three last questions. Maybe I'll put them one by one. Is that okay, Kavinder? Maybe we'll take it.
Sure, sure,
Yeah.
sure. No problem.
The first question is maybe a little provocative, but let me ask you. Like just the way you have this army transcription kind of thing, like where people in some countries like Israel and maybe in US as well, to certain age people, right? You are mandated to serve in the army, right? So it's a mandate, right? Similar is the case with sales. Do you think companies should actually come out with a policy of a mandated sales stint for everyone who wants to work in a company, because they understand the empathy part of it, because that's a pipeline through which the entire company is going to be surviving for the years to come, right? That's where the money is coming in from. So therefore, I mean, you can have tens of other departments, but ultimately it's about sales, the people who are creating the top line, and therefore the bottom line is going to be for the rest of the company, but the top line is going to be that. So therefore, the question is that do you think every company would like to or should mandate every employee in any company to have some stint or the other? Maybe you can define in terms of months or year, whatever you call it, that they should work in sales. That's one. The second one is about, I mean, there is always a tug of war between the marketing and sales, right? In fact, so much so that somebody like Philip Kotler has written a beautiful HBR
Yeah.
article on the end of marketing and kind of thing. And of course, there's a book by the same name, right? Name. And
Yeah.
the third one is, and again, it is a Philip Kotler who has propounded a beautiful, very interesting concept called as H2H marketing, that is human to human marketing, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so in the light of your experience, how do you look at each one of them? One is, do you mandate for every employee to have a sales stint? I mean, it's a mandatory that everybody should. That's one. The second one is, how do you resolve this issue of marketing and sales? There's always a cold war in some companies, as would they say. And the third one is that how does this human to human marketing is going to impact the sales force effectiveness as well as the sales itself? Kavinder.
Yeah, so I think it's quite a long question, Chaudhary. So I will try to answer. I think first part is again when you talk about the mandate of working in sales. I just want to share an interesting thing again. In our company, we do have a I think kind of a routine where we take all our support function for a customer call,
Very good.
just to make them understand, okay, that this is what it is, and at the vice versa as well. I think sales leader are also taken to support function role one day in a year so that they understand, okay, this is what we say that, oh, what is happening at the logistics, why these guys are not billing the materials, right? Why from the warehouse they're not sending it out? But at the same time, for the support function also, when they think, oh, these guys are going to the field, they are going to nice hotels and nice no travel all the time, they are enjoying life, right? Just for them also to understand that, okay, come to the customer and get that grilling, right? And we preferably choose those kind of tough customers for these meetings. So we take them and they see them that kind of this grill happens, and after that they start respecting more. And I think it's a vice versa. I won't say so. This is what we do, and I think this is a good practice to be adopted all across various I think companies where it it will bring I think sales team also to understand what are the key values. Why a finance head is always telling you to cut the cost, or a logistics guy is telling you that can you look at when you are ordering those part numbers as again first in first out principle, or last in first out kind of whatever those principles are, FIFO, LIFO. So how those are being designed, how Kanban is being designed. So they everybody understands like in entire across the organization. So this is what is a practice good to follow. On the second part, when you asked about, I think second question was the tug war between marketing and sales. So that's again, I think this was initially days when you had more of an industrial kind of no product where you are selling and no those kind of things, mass products being done, and as the customization happened, and this again a more American concept is towards marketing, right? And sales. I told you the Germans, they believe that our products is the best; it will sell for itself. But I think making way for both of them, I think both of are complementary rather than competing. So understanding that part again, so having more collaborative workshops between marketing and sales team where they understand whenever there's new product kind of a team development team or new product is being launched, we kind of do a lot of collaboration among the teams where the sales teams guide them, oh, who is the right surgeon, we should give this first product for testing, and after that we get a good feedback. So collaborative approach is the answer. I think there's no single answer. This cold war has been going on for so many years, and it will also take a lot of time to solve. But again, having more cross-section collaborative projects, if you can make and those activity, this can now, I would say, nurture collaboration. And the final part, which you talked about, H2H marketing or human-to-human marketing, where I've been following Kotler. For this is the new concept which is being launched, and the new book. I am yet to read the book, but I have read about, because one of my older professor from Germany is Dr. Uwe Sponholz. She's also part of that Kotler group, which is building H2H, and which really talks about that human to human marketing is so important now, especially, and the more context is talking about is B2B marketing. Right? When you are talking about B2B marketing, you have to understand the business a particular product is. If I'm, let's say, giving a product which is not financially viable for my customer, sooner or later that product will fail, right? So that's why it's important to understanding going into the customer shoes and know at a human to human level interaction, you are able to build those persona and fit your kind of requirement or a product which you are building into that human persona, and coming from there and building those products. This is what I feel is more and more will add value, where you are basically going with the need based, where there's a market need. And that's why also so many startups are failing today, because they are going towards a mantra, oh, startup, everybody's in the race. But are you really taking a scalable right customer problem or a pain point? Are you building solution for that? And is your solution scalable? Does it work? Does it actually solve a problem? Or it's like a consultant, you are saying you are making a problem and solving it. Is an actual genuine problem? And then slicing that data, that is there, what is the kind of scalability, what is the customer base for that? If I have my product, what is my return on investment, what kind of market coverage I should have? So having those again interesting conversations around that and building that business canvas, right? Starting entire business canvas, and only then your product or service will be successful. So yeah, I think I have short knowledge on H2H, but I'll try to read that book. I have been recommended book, but I have yet to read from Kotler.
Thank you so much, Kavinder. I think also I think we have a short past 7 p.m. and thank all of our wonderful participants as always. And I'm sure from all of them and from all of us at TimesPro, thank you so much, Kavinder, for taking your time out, especially on a Saturday evening, and then engaging with all of us with a wonderful topic, and especially with your illustrious experience. That made all the difference, I would say, Kavinder.
Yeah, thank you for having me, and I thoroughly enjoyed the session, Professor.
Thank you so much, Kavinder. Thank you so much.